Okay. Good morning, Tara. So it's going to be a relatively short one today. I've got an appointment this afternoon. I forgot about it. My wife got in touch with me. She's like, "Oh, don't forget." Good morning. So we've really only got like an hour and a half today, and then I gotta break. So we're not gonna get a lot of work done. And after that, I got my son, so I don't know for sure what the work. I don't know for sure what all I got in terms of time, which is not great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I was planning on doing my recording for the podcast this afternoon after lunch, and that is gonna have to figure something out with that now. There's a fence. Yes, it's not a pony, it's a fence. We're drawing a fence. There would be more, but or we would have more to do. Oh, was the owner of the... He was kind of... He had something similar to this, I think. It's actually a very close voice. So yeah, you would be correct. It's. I guess I have used a voice quite a lot like it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Charlie in the chocolate factory. And I kind of enjoy that relatively goofy style of like I'm not entirely here. I always try to picture a Dark Eldar from Warhammer 40,000, the old original ones that look like Kiss. For some reason, for reasons I cannot understand, the Dark Eldar stopped being like Kiss. I assume it's just because Games Workshop hates fun. That's what it feels like a lot of times. It's pretty dumb, in my opinion. Should have just kept it. Whoops, I'm in the wrong. The Dark Eldar being like Kiss, I thought got funnier as time went on, because it's like they're aging and are completely out of touch, and they're insane and on soul drugs. Yet they themselves are just fine with everything. It's going great. It's the world that's wrong. Everyone else has the problem. I'm the only genius. Who's best pony? As of like the end of the series, I would say probably Trixie. Trixie was best pony. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, like you hate to say it, but Trixie kind of pulled ahead in the end there. Used to be she was not best pony. There was no way you would have said something like that, but you know, she got to be more interesting than most of your other ponies. Had a little more life, a little bit more pizzazz. Let's put a little bit more. Highlight on there. So I'm gonna watch the whole show. I mean, people have definitely watched the whole show. I don't know if anyone can say that they like super appreciate everything that the show became, but watched it, yeah. It does certainly let down a fair amount as the seasons go on. Stops being as fun for an adult. Hello, the dog. Yeah, season 5. I hear a lot of people, it's like season 4, season 3 sometimes, I hear. hopefully this reads as a fence pole coming away. Getting these tile sets lined up is kind of challenging, and it's hard to guess, like, am I doing it right? I don't know. I'll find out when I get there. Plus they shrink down so much. So like, this is okay. And then it's real particular about, like, I've got an example for the fences, and so it's like, so we've got the one main, the simple fence here. It's like, okay, there's that by itself, and then you need the cross section, or not a cross section, one actual section that is a cross section, be like the inside of the fence. Yeah, I mean, like, season three was short, and it was like right at, you were just like, oh, okay, I can see we're going in a pretty dumb direction, but you still are like, maybe it'll turn around, maybe it'll be fine, and you're hopeful, and then it doesn't turn around, and it's not fine. It just kind of gets worse, and you're like, well, that's it then. That's it. Trying to figure out, so this up and down, so left and right's easy, but then up and down is going to give me a certain amount of grief, and I have to figure out how to not suffer that grief so much. I needed to make it feel like evenly spaced. I guess the way to do that is just to take just do it up here. What are you talking about? Cut with layer. No, I'm trying to get you to. This. Alright, that we can delete. So we want it like evenly spaced. So there's that end. How should we do this? Because so many squares have we got in total? How many pixels? We'll move that in like a second. We've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What am I even doing? It's 48 pixels. Like, when am I counting the pixels? It's 48 of them. The ride ended. The ride ended early on. We just didn't want to get off. Ah, yes, the My Little Pony into the furry fandom. Some people said it didn't happen. There were people in denial about it. Okay. guess I just want to go up like 24 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And it would look something like that, I guess. And then I would go the same way the other direction. Only down instead of up. Oh. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24. And then we want black. And all the rest of this jazz. And that should do it, I guess. What is this? What are you? Can't even tell. This doesn't appear to be anything. This is just empty. Empty layer. Okay. Good. Glad I did that. Somewhere in here. There it is. Speaking of, have I been watching anything interesting lately? No, I wish. It doesn't feel like there's been very much interesting stuff on anything, really. I finished watching The Boys, and that was okay. I guess we had new episodes of Invincible that I haven't watched. I kind of want to get around to watching that. Just haven't yet. But otherwise, it's been not very, like, I don't know. I can't. It's hard to find anything worth watching these days. It feels like. Hazbin Hotel. Oh, stuff online. Yeah, the problem with the online stuff is that it's not. There's not tons of it. I mean, if we're going by that, then I, like watched Digital Circus and stuff. But Digital Circus. Now we're just waiting for the next Digital Circus episode. Amazing Digital Circus. I can never find anything to watch on YouTube consistently. Like, I guess I'm keeping up with Fingies. That counts. He posts weird Minecraft stuff. And I'm watching that. Watching the weird Minecraft stuff. It's fun, though. Enjoy a bit of weird. See, the latest Boys. Apparently the comic was pretty dumb, but I kind of like. I don't know. The Boys feels like it's about like over. It's getting to the point where there's really not a lot else for them to say or do. And I'm kind of like at the point where I'm ready to just like say goodbye to the show. It's okay. Like we're done. I'm fine. I feel like that same thing happened. Orange is the New Black was kind of that same way. I watched that for a while. I actually was really late on that, so I got to that later on, and it was like, oh, this is really good. And then it got to a point where I was kind of like, this is actually getting sort of stupid, and I'm like, I don't really care anymore. The Batman animated series. Some older stuff there, the Batman animated series. Batman. I think there was an XKCD joke where they were like, Batman becomes a lot funnier when they, instead of saying the Batman, they're constantly talking about the man dressed as a bat. It's an old XKCD, but they gave like a dialogue example of it, and it was actually pretty funny. Just kind of highlights how weird the whole Batman situation is. Revisit Stargate. For a little while, I was making an effort to watch all the old Gundam stuff, and like I haven't really liked very much Gundam that's come out lately. Like I watched, what was it? Iron Blooded. I watched Unicorn, and then that was one where their whole message was like, you shouldn't do war. And also, you can choose not to do war if you're a good person. And that was like weird because they just never used, like they were trying to avoid using the Gundams because that was the message that they were going for. Zeta's the best. I think I watched the first two. Or no, I watched the first one, and I think I watched like The Revenge of Char. And they were okay. The first one was interesting for just the fact that, I don't know, like the Gundam was really kind of invincible. Like they just threw things at it, and everything bounced off of its armor. And they had like 3 Gundams, and they were all built like that. They were all completely invincible. And so it is a little bit funny that, like, they built the Gundam tank, and it's basically just a Gundam with tread legs. And they're like, it seemed fine. There didn't seem anything wrong with it, and they were just like, nah, flawed design. Tread legs suck. Let's see if we can do better. Let's see if we can get up to legs. We need legs. And I can't even remember what the second design was. Second design was something like I don't know, maybe it was just like lighter or smaller? Cannot recall now. But they abandoned those designs. They were like, done. We're done doing those. We're not doing these anymore. Cool. I mean, for the whole series, like Guntank died. Guntank was removed. Yeah, real mixed bag. I watched Iron-Blooded Orphans for a while and was struck by how insignificant everything felt. Like nothing mattered. They were just killing stuff, and then like the main character was a sociopath. It was like my supposition is that they heard complaints from the fans who were like, what's the point of a Gundam show if the whole message is that we're going to avoid using the Gundams? Like, yes, okay, war is bad, but that was usually conveyed through the wars being bad. You know, it was never like, wars are bad and I refuse to deploy the Gundam. It was always like, war is bad and deploying the Gundam kind of sucks. I sure wish I didn't have to. And then they were like, fine. And so Iron-Blooded Orphans was just about like a sociopath you couldn't relate to. Which just felt petty. Like they just went in the other, they're just like, he's fine, you get stupid evil character who like wants nothing but unhappiness for everyone. It's like, okay, Gundam creators, like, chill out. I'm sorry I upset you. I wasn't even one of the fans sending them angry messages or anything, but still, sorry, I'm sorry. Sorry I wanted to see the giant robots go pew pew laser. Nuclear allegory. Oh, The Witch of Mercury? Yeah, I didn't see The Witch of Mercury. I heard it was gory, and they were still going in the direction of the sociopathic character. And you know, like with Iron Blood and Orphans, they were doing that, but it was all just like, he was totally emotionless. There was something on Netflix that I thought was pretty good. Like, I like giant robots. I think they're cool. So I would keep up with them. But there was some kind of Netflix giant robot thing where they had you know, the protagonist always has to be godlike in some way, but they had like a sort of a super genius protagonist, but he was just in like a regular little battle suit, and all the bad guys were in like super special, super heroic bad guy suits that did certain things. So like one of them had this radius of like sub-zero temperatures, and if anything went in it, then it just froze up and died. And he had to come up with this completely outlandish scheme of like, all right, drop a bomb, like just drop a series of bombs directly ahead of my path, and the heat from the explosion will temporarily prevent me from freezing to death so that I can get into range to fire my gun. And like it's like completely outlandish, but because he's got like perfect reaction timing, it's like, oh, I did it. You know, it's anime. But it was a fun one. I like how this show. One of the things that I thought was kind of interesting about the show was that there's a guy who's like very into. He's very passionate about the cause and everything, and there's some girl, and she's like, "What would you say?" She talks to like the protagonist, and she's like, well, you know, what would you say is the point of all this and the point of this warfare we're going through and everything? And he's like, it's just diplomacy by other means. He goes, the whole point of this is not for virtue or anything else. He says it's just to achieve an objective. And she's like, okay, all right, fair. And then she talks to like the other kind of the enemy, sort of the villain. And he's got like a compelling sort of emotional reason for it. He's like, this is about justice and such and such, and then she's like, okay, yes, and then she sides with the protagonist, Protagon-kun, because Protagon-kun just has the more political. He just has the more political and dispassionate take. And Protag-kun. So I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, oh, girls really dig objective war analysis. They're like, oh, you think that they want to hear about your passionate reasons for being in war. What they want to hear is that this is a dreadful necessity. Speak rationalism to me, baby. But I don't know. Giant robots, I feel like it's just like a fun. They're just like superheroes, really. And so it's that same like this is very dumb, but also kind of fun. It's fun in a really stupid way. Instead of putting on a bat suit, you get in a giant walking tank. And you go melt people. And then you talk about how war is bad and you're sorry you had to melt all the people. Or not sometimes. Sometimes they're, like an Armored Core, they're just kind of like, good job! You melted all the people! At least the original Armored Core games were a little like that. Congratulations! You're a good corporate lackey. It's got you thinking of your Bionicle lore. I mean, Bionicle is more clearly superhero stuff than like that is just undeniably superheroes. Bionicle. They're just robot superheroes. They are superheroes that are robots. Heroes, monsters, magic, and science. Yeah, it's funny when you take those settings like sci-fi. I think one of the appeals of sci-fi, and probably one of the appeals of Gundam, for example, too, is that there's the saying, any form of technology that is sufficiently advanced becomes indistinguishable from magic. And effectively, like when you set things far enough in the future, you're just working in the realm of magic. You're just like, I have a magic wand that casts a beam of light, and that's your, like they call it a laser cannon. But if we ever really develop a laser cannon, there's no telling how exactly that's going to look. One thing that I think is interesting is it's possible that a weaponized laser would not actually produce color. And I think that a weaponized laser would not produce color at all in space. Because there's part of the reason you see color is because it's like bouncing off of, like a laser that we have now is like bouncing off of particles in the air and stuff like that, where space is a vacuum. So in reality, like space battles would not be very exciting except for the people in the ships. It would be exciting in the fact that like a hole would be melted into your ship and then the vacuum of space would be inside instead of outside. Like it wouldn't be very fun to watch. So the space lasers and everything you see in sci-fi, it's genuinely just like magical beams. And, it's... okay, maybe it's lasers, but is it really practical lasers? Would it be maybe like more practical to expect only maybe nuclear warheads? Because if you think about all right, you can get like a faster than light drive on a ship. Why would you need lasers? Why not just load everything up into like missile pods that can fire the missiles at faster than light? And even in settings where you can drop out of faster than light, plasma might be, but I mean, like, that would have to be short range too. Like, the range of lasers, that they lose intensity over distance, and that's, I think, one of the bigger issues. Maybe they wouldn't in space, though. I don't know. I don't like know a lot about the science of lasers, but I just know that there's a lot of like hurdles to making weaponized lasers. So because we have no idea how it works, in all the shows where you see that, it's magic, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's part of what makes it fun. Is as you're working on it, you're just as you're writing the show, you're building the show, you're just like, I don't know, space lasers, space magic. It's a magic spell. We cast it with a gun, which is one thing I think Outlaw Star was really fun, because they had a weapon called a caster that was just a gun that shot magic, and they could have said anything with it because it's sci-fi. They could have been like, oh, it's powered by a black hole or some other kind of garbage. But they were just like, it's magic. You can't, like, the gun shoots magic. They just came out with it. No fear whatsoever. Of course, they also had the Dow Masters and everything else. Like, they often do psionics and everything. That's magic. How do I feel about making a lot of your childhood videos? I feel like I told you at the start of those videos you weren't supposed to watch them when you were kids. You did it anyway. You just messed yourselves up. Made yourselves all weird. I tried to protect you from me. Why didn't you listen to the warnings? Alright, well, we're about to find out whether or not this is even going to be functional as anything. I feel like trying to get tile sets right is one thing that I find very... Oh, I'm in the wrong files. Very frustrating about all this. There were definitely things worse in the fandom than what I was doing. I suppose there's a reason why Smile HD got nuked by Hasbro. Like, that one was pretty funny, because I remember as they were starting to come down on stuff, people were talking about, like, oh, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and then Smile got nuked, and they were like, oh, I wonder why that happened. Because it wasn't using show assets or anything like that. It was like because people were looking up they were looking for My Little Pony, and they were getting Smile. And Hasbro probably really didn't like that kept coming up when you looked for My Little Pony. They were just like, that's got to go. This is not okay. Well, we got plans for more of the Where Are We series. I need to get a script for Pedera for the next stuff. Okay, let's see. Does this work? Oh, it does, thank goodness. Well, for the most part, it does anyway. I wonder where the problem is. I wonder where the flaw's at. because we're like losing half of our thing when we do that. It doesn't want to split properly. Oh no, it does split properly. Maybe I'm jumping the gun and it's fine. Was it correct? Oh, it is correct. Okay, I don't know why I thought. No, wait. We are losing some stone there, but I don't know why we are. Right, here, I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back. Okay. Could do worse. We didn't. It didn't swear a lot, and it wasn't too nasty. Okay, so something's that's not correct. What does it do? It's like putting. For some reason, it is always placing a stone there. Why would it do that, though? I don't fully understand how RPG Maker does what it does, or why it does what it does. Like if you, it just, okay, because it's like every other thing is fine. And then for some reason, it's like it's taking the one in the middle. And then if I go straight down, it like skips every other. See, but I don't understand because this looks like it should be correct, and so I don't really get what in the heck. Is it? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna see if we can tease out the arcane mysteries of how this tile set works. How the tile set thing works. 'Cause that's one thing. Alright. So is this guy part of why we're not seeing the normal? Okay, publish it. Publish it. No. I don't even see the pink. And I don't... Well, what the heck is it doing then? If that's our pink. So tile set. Right, like there's this. Explain yourself. Because it's grabbing the wrong thing. Like it looks here and it goes, yeah, okay, and then this doesn't appear. But what's weird is that I don't understand. Why are you not grabbing the correct thing? Still listening to Sinking Ships. This one's correct. Oh, is it because it's a set as a bush for some reason. Do we have something stupid going on? No? No explanation given for why are you doing that? This is like it's made correctly. It looks like it's made correctly, and then we just don't. Now, RPG Maker can be such a bitch about things. Two, three, four, and then it looks like that should be fine. Try and restart the program. What makes you do this? Where is it even pulling that from? Oh my god! I should be doing that instead of objects. I feel like these programs should be a lot less inscrutable. Like, I'm gonna find out there's some kind of inane rule that it is just not No, it's still broken here too. Okay, so it's something. Something about the file where for some reason it doesn't like what's been established for it. And so instead of accepting what I've told it to do, it's just doing something else. And that is so obnoxiously arcane. All right. Like, I don't know, I feel like if a company is going to do something like this, like if they're going to have a program that will override common sense. Oops, okay, that's wrong. Then there needs to be like a clear manual or something like that. That would be like, just so you know, if you try to work with this program in like a deliberate and an intelligent fashion, the program will try to outsmart you, and it will fail. It's like you'll do it right, and it'll thwart you. It'll intentionally mess you up and will refuse to explain why it's messed up. So here, let's see what you're doing now. Are you... Because now we should be like pink. Okay, so it's not pulling from the space I assumed it would pull from. Something wrong with did I miscalculate somehow? Spend the work time that we have trying to troubleshoot a problem with RPG Maker, where something was just a little bit not quite what it wanted. And our punishment is suffering. Like, and it feels like everything is correct because I guess I got 768 by 576, so that's the same. And if I move it over, it still fails. Okay, let's get rid of this because this is stupid. It's 48 by 48, right? Let me see. I'm pretty sure everything's been 48 by 48. 48 by 48. File size is correct. The obvious stuff is all fine. Everything appears built correctly. And it doesn't show this. What are you doing? Like, I don't know. When your tileset importer is so detrimental to everything you're trying to do, yeah, so here we go. It's not what I thought it was doing. So instead of importing the top left thing for the single file like it's supposed to, it's pulling in the bottom left. But it's genuinely mysterious why it would do that. Hello, Alex. You know, we've only got like 15 more minutes, and then we kind of have we have to get a hard out. Because I got, I'm gonna pick up I got a couple of things going on. It's just the weirdest shit. Alright, well, what if I do this? Maybe all this is... Like, I don't understand why it would behave like this and why it would be like crucially designed like this, because it's really weird that because it doesn't do that with anything else. Now it's still got half of a... and then it fully disappears. Oh my god. Oh my god, I have no explanation for it! I don't understand how it works. Why does this give me the correct thing and this gives me something completely different from what's in the system? Why? How does it work? How does it decide that? It's so bizarre. So you think it wouldn't be that difficult to just create a working fence and have it be something functional. I just don't understand why it. Oh, I thought I exported this. Okay. So that looks normal, except for the fact that it like skips every other thing. Going up or down. With still no real explanation. Is it auto-detecting something? Alright, what if I do this? Let's just copy the grass texture over and then see if it reads the grass texture correctly. I'm going to be honestly livid. Okay, so for some I think the program is like auto detecting something. It's possible that RPG Maker is trying to auto-detect something about how I've drawn my thing. And so instead of just following normal logic, it's like changing the sprites to try to compensate for me, and it's wrong. Like it is just blatantly wrong, but it's trying to. 96 plus. So 48 times 6. 288. Oops, no. Times 3. Oh, no, 48 times 3. 144. All right, let's see. We look at what I've got versus what they've got. What is it? There's like nothing really I can tell that 6 by 144, 96 by 144. Okay. Use the restroom again. I've got a crazy idea. What if we just fill in the whole background with pink? How about now? Oh, now it works. Okay. So, fun lesson for RPG Maker. It turns out that for some reason, it will try to, it will fight with you. And it will attempt to second guess you. And if you don't do what it wants, and there's no telling what it wants necessarily, you are about to have problems. is insanely unclear, like what exactly, there's something like it needs to have just enough space filled out on the screen, or otherwise it attempts to second guess you and decide like, oh, actually this is wrong. I don't know exactly, but it does apparently try to correct for you. So if you're doing something, if you're working on something and it's like, oh no, I don't agree with this, then it'll just try to fix it. It'll try to fix you. It doesn't matter how big of a problem that is. That's really frustrating. That is like a level of foolproof program design that's just super obnoxious. How far out does that go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I hate that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Goddamn, that is the type of foolproofing that makes me want to scream. So foolproof that our software becomes unusable. Speaking of, I'm going backwards because the lighting's going to be on the other side. Don't you just love it? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is RPG Maker MZ. And apparently, if you design a tile set and it's not quite lined up the way that it expects, it'll punish you. Which I wasn't exactly anticipating. So instead of just accepting this for what it is, when I tried to import it, it for some reason like went to look for other parts of the tile set. I was just like, oh, this must be wrong. You must be wrong. I'm not wrong, but it decided I was. Like I made it correctly. MV does the same thing. Yeah, that is really weird. Like that's a very strange, like you'd think that if you were gonna do like tile set importing that you would just make it consistent. Like if you do this, you will get this result every time. Trying to dynamically second guess the person using the program is that is strange. Like that is just damaging. Because now we got to go back in and try to fill in more of the white space and see if we can, like, get it to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get it to stop trying to second guess the actual objectives of the tile set. This should have been done like an hour ago or something, but so we have to go back and try to figure out what RPG Maker thinks I'm supposed to be doing instead of what I wanted. No problem, Sweet Pea. Always be in your Sweet Pea brain. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sheer agony, absolute frustration, pure rage. And if this does not, if this doesn't fix it, then I don't know what else to do. I guess we would have to put in maybe like more, just more junk, a little bit more trash to clarify for it where the actual fence is at. Just put little tin cans laying around. Sometimes you just have to use a character sprite. Yeah, see, I was worried about that, or like, what if I, because the other option is that you could just do not a tile set, but just do like an object, like a non-tile set object, then you would just do it yourself. This kind of defeats the purpose of using some of the programs offered by RPG Maker. Like if RPG Maker's system just does not work, then, you know, what's the point? I'm hoping, I guess with the shadows it looks nicer though, so hopefully it'll work with the shadows on it since it's got more space filled out. Nope, still fucked. It is still fucked. Like it's frustrating because it reads what it's supposed to do and then chooses something else. It chooses just a completely different path than the one you wanted. But why? What compels that? So filling out that, maybe I can look here, RPG Maker, MZ, and pretty much I have to go. I got this top left image. I wonder what if I put in just like a really like almost indetectable, like a small amount of like color spray, droplets, like little droplets. I would like to get this solved before I quit, but if I just throw like little tiny like little color droplets and make them nearly invisible, what then? Will it recognize it? Fucking better. Alright, let's do that. 20, 30. worried if I make it too difficult to see that whatever program they have to dynamically obliterate my project is not going to spot it. Just unbelievable, though. Why would they do this? Why would they be like... Why do they delight in making me angry? Can I draw Meat Boy from Super Meat Boy? I never played Meat Boy. But he probably can. He's just like a cube, isn't he? Alright, so to a player, this should be practically invisible, but maybe to a computer, a very stupid computer, designed by maybe slightly stupid people, we'll trick it, and then it'll work. Cube with little cubes at the side. I'm pretty sure I could draw a cube. I have a relative amount of confidence that I could draw a cube. Yeah, you really can just spend hours trying to troubleshoot RPG Maker. And again, it's so weird because this is something that should not be like this is user friendliness. This is like hostile, I don't know, malicious user friendliness where they've nope, still fucked, and now it's weird. I could redraw the entire thing, but anyway, though, so that's it. I gotta go, and the workday winds up being kind of a wash. Not because I did anything wrong, but just because RPG Maker's got a system to break your tile sets. It's very strange that they have that. My guess is probably it would work if I move the center slabs over to be in like the corners. Maybe, or maybe if I like import it as a wall, it might cooperate with me then. because I'd still have to move them over into the corners. Yeah. Anyway, though, I gotta go. I got stuff I gotta do. I'm gonna be late as it is. So okay. Thanks for joining me for the short little while. I'll catch you guys next time.